Hi, Alex, and welcome to The Crick. To start off this little podcast, would you like to tell us who you are and what you're actually doing at The Crick?
Yes, hi Eva, thanks for having me. Great to be here on the pod. So I'm a senior bioinformatician in Samra Taralic's group, and I've worked here for a few years now, but I'm primarily interested in cancer evolution. So that will be melanoma. We did a big study called Melanoma Peace, and also we're doing a lot of work on VHL right now, which is von Hippel-Lindau syndrome. So this is a sort of fascinating syndrome in which patients unfortunately develop many tumours in their kidneys because they have what we call a first hit encoded in the germline. So all they require then for tumorigenesis, all that's required is for them to lose that second copy. And so they get a lot of different tumours. But this is a fascinating sort of environment to study the evolution of cancers, because it's not normal that you get multiple tumours in a patient that are all what we call clonally independent. So they arise from different ancestral cells.
So what's your background? So what did you do before you were at the Crick? How did you come to work here?
Yeah, so I've kind of got a sort of weird trajectory. I actually used to be a techno DJ. So when I was when I was 18 to sort of 24, I kind of was touring the world as playing in nightclubs as a techno DJ. So I toured Australia, toured all over Europe, and released a lot of records. But eventually I got a little bit bored of that and sort of caught the science bug. I was watching a lot of David Attenborough on the TV, and you know that those shows are just so fascinating. The sort of the wonder and splendor of nature, so I thought, let me get into biology. And then
it's quite a big career change.
Yeah, well,
you haven't noticed that. That's quite unusual.
Yes, I've got a diverse range of interests, I'd say. So I did a biology undergrad at Bristol, which was sort of broad tree of life, all sorts of things. We were studying fungi, plants and such. And then I did a PhD at Bristol. And then I came here to the Crick as a postdoc. And I've been here for 4 years working with Samra.
That's fun. So
we have to put some of your music in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe not.
So the reason why we have invited you here today is not because of your techno skills, but perhaps more of your technical skills. Funny, right?
Very good.
Nice. I like that.
So dorky. Anyway, so we have invited you here because you have created a new tool that you are hoping, and that we actually think could help scientists all over the world, which you have named LitLetter. Would you mind telling us a little bit about it and what it actually does?
Yes, of course. LitLetter. Yes, this is what I've called it. It's my new website. And the slogan I'm going with is all of the scientific literature in one daily newsletter. And so as a scientist, I'm sort of well-versed with the problems of doing science, the things we sort of encounter on a day-to-day basis, and the minutiae of the work I have a very sort of intimate experience with. So, and one of the things that we must do as scientists is to keep up to date with the literature. It's very important that we know about the latest hot topics, what's being published. And so, and this sort of keeping up with the literature is a two-part process. The first part of the process is searching for papers. And that's not trivial. That's not a trivial task. The second part is to actually read the papers, which is what we should be doing as scientists, is reading papers and updating our knowledge.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, so when you say it's searching for literature is not a trivial process, can you expand on that? Why is it not a trivial process?
Well, it's not necessarily a difficult process, but it requires mental energy. And things that require mental energy, we tend to put off, or at least I do, because it's not made smooth. It's like let's say this. Let's say you want to make some music, right? Let's say you're a musician.
You're the expert,
right? Well, if you want to make some music, what you don't want to do is have to put the speakers on the stands, wire them up into the sound card, turn the computer on, download all of the plugins that are required, download all of the samples that you need. You want everything to be ready for you to go. Yeah. And so LitLetter is sort of doing this in that it's reducing that search, because you set it up once, and I'm aware I haven't explained exactly how it works yet. I will get to that, but you set it up once and then it updates every day as a newsletter with the queries you've already put in. So it just removes that activation energy that's required.
So moving on to, what does it actually do?
Yes, what does it actually do? Yeah, I should say. So how it works is this. So it's got access to the entirety of PubMed and bioRxiv. That's over 35 million papers. Incredibly comprehensive scientific resources. So that includes all of your top tier journals, Nature, Science, Cell, all of their sub-journals, any journal basically that you can think of in the biological sciences, and many in biomedical and chemical and physical sciences as well. So it has access to these repositories of data. And what it is you basically set up multiple queries, and they'll be very precise queries, because as scientists, we're all interested in very specific things. And that could differ within the same group. So there's a guy in my group, he's interested in tumorigenesis in kidney cancer. So that the start, how does it all start in sporadic kidney cancer? That is kidney cancer that's not in VHL syndrome patients, but just develops sporadically. So he's interested in kidney cancer, sure, but a different thing than I'm interested in, right? Which is VHL and evolution. So they are different topics. So that's to say that everybody has their very precise things that they're interested in.
Cool.
And so what happens on LitLetter is you go in, you put in very precise queries. So you can use different operators. So you can use and, or, not, and you can sort of construct these specific queries. So I could search for CCRCC or renal carcinoma, group those together in brackets and put and evolution. And then I could throw machine learning in as well if I'm interested in CCRCC machine learning examples.
Sure.
So, and then you set those multiple queries at once, and you can specify the journals. So you could say, I'm only interested in papers in Nature, Science, and Cell, right? Now, as I've been experiencing when I've been using LitLetter, because it's an evolving thing, if a paper's in Nature, Science, and Cell, you know it's going to be very high quality, right? Generally.
Maybe.
Maybe. But at least it's interesting to know about those papers, right? Because you know they're going to be very well funded, and everybody's going to be talking about them. So if something's in Nature, Science, Cell, my search parameters will be a little bit broader, right? Maybe cancer in general and not CCRCC evolution, yeah? So I've got one a query on LitLetter, which will be cancer in Nature, Science, and Cell. And that's at the top of my newsletter. Below that, I've got another query, more specific this time, CCRCC and evolution. And in this, I include all journals, yeah? Or all of the Nature, Science, Cell and their sub-journals. So that's Nature Medicine, Nature Cancer, Nature Communications, etc. And then you can have one, say, just for preprints on bioRxiv if you want to keep up with the cutting edge as well. So you set up all of these queries, and then once you've done that, job done, basically, you just check your newsletter, and each day it will refresh with the new results for those queries. So you've done that initial setup, and then you just read your newsletter every day. And I've made sure the site looks good on mobile, so you can read papers on the train, right? So that's how it works, basically.
So why did you decide to create LitLetter? Was it you alone, or do you have some minions?
Yes, no, it was just me. as I say, just the problems I've encountered with keeping up with the literature, I just wanted to make that a very smooth and easy process. And I think this is going to become, a core tool in a lot of scientists' arsenal. Basically, it's already becoming something that I check every day for new papers, and I'm a lot more up to date because of it.
Yeah, I guess that brings me to my question here: is that alerts from different journals or from sort of articles that has been around for a while, and from sources like PubMed or Google Scholar or what have you. So, what would you say is your unique selling point with LitLetter?
Yeah, of course. These are the things. I've tried them all. And the thing about them is, they sort of overwhelm you with papers that are perhaps not exactly what you want, and they're perhaps in journals that you're not particularly interested in. So I get these email alerts, and what ends up happening is you just ignore them. You just end up ignoring them because they're just full of things that, they might be peripherally related to what you're doing, but they're not really precise. You can't get in there with very specific queries and very specific filtering parameters. Also, with these things, you can't have multiple different queries. That's the bonus of LitLetter. I've got one for preprints, one for Nature Science Cell. I've got all these different ones, all stacked on the same page, right? Of things that I might be interested in.
I think, I will say I've been using it for the last few days since you posted it on Slack, and I think it's really excellent. And I think one of the features that you've added recently, which I like, is the ability to, when you've read a paper and you've clicked on it, then it marks it as read. And if you have just an email from PubMed of your query, then it's just a list of things which is very static. Whereas because you've integrated that into that newsletter dynamic format, it allows you to mark what you've done and these sort of things. So I definitely can see the benefit of that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Alex, that was really interesting. And hopefully more people use LitLetter. I currently use it. I think it's great. And hopefully other people can hear about it. And if we can help spread the word, that'd be great. But yeah, thanks for making it, and good luck with it.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Thank you.